Thank you, everyone, for joining today. My name is Parker. I'm the Health and Wellbeing Specialist in Risk Services. I develop programs for the campus department on health and well-being topics. I also do health coaching groups and the wellness challenges. So just anything to support the health and well-being of our faculty and staff here at UC Santa Cruz. My background, I have a master's in nutrition and health coaching, and that was actually inspired by having over 10 years of experience working in kitchens, cooking and baking. And I wanted to help folks figure out how to make eating and habits easier for them and fit them into their busy lives, busy schedules. So today we're going to break down how to do that. So thinking about what you need to eat at your next meal probably takes up a lot of brain space, does for a lot of us. So we'll go over how to make this process a little bit smoother. We'll talk about cooking, if you're not cooking, not knowing what to eat, if you have decision fatigue, and different ways that you might try to save money. So let's hear from you first. I have a quick poll. What is the biggest consideration that you have when you are trying to figure out what to eat? So is it having enough time, figuring out what you want to do? Is budget a big consideration? What options do you have? If you have different preferences and dietary needs in your house. If you do others, share it in the chat. Alrighty, let's share what we have. So it looks like time, nutrition, and folks in your house is a concern, and standing out above the rest is figuring out what to make. So that's a super common situation. We will definitely talk about these in just a second. Thanks everyone for sharing. Okay, first let's talk about cooking. Whether you feel super comfortable in the kitchen or if you're just starting out, there are a ton of different strategies, but this isn't going to be about planning every single meal to a T. It's more about setting yourself up for success and just trying to reduce your overall time in the kitchen because we are all busy people. And so you can start by pre-washing and cutting your vegetables after shopping. Or if it makes more sense for you, there's sometimes pre-cut and pre-washed options at the store. The idea here is to have these things ready when you need them rather than deciding in the middle of the week when it's time to eat that you're not going to add a vegetable because you don't want to deal with a cutting board. I think many of us have been there in that situation. So when it is time to get cooking, make the process a little bit easier on yourself. There are a lot of different recipes for putting everything in one appliance and getting it cooking, like sheet pan meals. They have minimal prep and cleanup. And if you have just a toaster oven, because I know that the kitchen situation in Santa Cruz is kind of iffy, these can be scaled down for your toaster oven too. But a quick restaurant tip for those of you who just hate cleaning sheet pans, I am in agreement with you. But you can line them with parchment paper, and that can help make cleanup a little bit easier. Also, if you have a variety of appliances and you're taking some time to prep a little bit for the week ahead, try to use them as much as possible. That can be a great multitasking tool. So your slow cookers, rice cookers, air fryers, these can save you a lot of time and a lot of effort later on in the week. And if you have oven space, you can double up by adding in an extra tray of vegetables at the same time. If you have staples that you include in most meals, like rice, pasta, vegetables, you can do those in bigger batches and have them for later in the week or freeze them for a future meal. And when you are making your meals, especially if you're someone who doesn't want to cook every day. Think of your mantra as cook once and serve twice. So adjusting your recipes so that you can have the same meal, maybe for two dinners, or making extra to freeze for later. When you are in the kitchen preparing or cooking, try practicing mise en place. It means everything in its place. And so the idea is you have everything to go. So your classic setup with your cutting board, knife, kitchen towels, ingredients, and storage containers for the prep food to land in. But this might be new to you as well, having a food scraps bowl. This is where you're going to toss in all of the roots for your onions, the carrot tops, potato peels, all of that gets tossed into the bowl. And it can save you so much time and headaches. So you're not turning around trying to open up the compost bin every minute or so. It can keep your space clean and your mind calm and help reduce a little bit of stress. My next recommendation is to get a roll of masking tape and a permanent marker so you can make labels. You're going to write the date and what item of food is inside of the container, and that can help reduce food waste. And you're not asking yourself, what is this? When did this happen? And it can help you cut down on those questions. Before you start cooking, take a minute to mentally walk through the recipe or your process. It'll help things run so much more smoothly. And this is especially helpful if you're trying out a new recipe. And my last tip is for when you have idle time, like when you're waiting for bread to toast, take those moments to clean up where you can so that you don't have all of it for later. And these ideas here, this concept of mise en place is just about getting organized and having a plan so that you can get in and out of the kitchen as fast as possible. But what if you are not cooking? You can still eat healthy meals and eat conveniently without having to cook from scratch. But how does that work? Look for foods that are easy to heat, easy to serve with whole foods as the ingredients. There are take and bake items from the store that are ready to heat up and eat, like pre-prepared family dinners that you throw in the oven. And even if you're just getting food for one or two people, these family dinners can cover you for a couple of days. That was a really fun hack for me to realize. There are also a lot of easy to assemble recipes online where you compile a full balanced nutritious meal from some package options that you can find in the fridge, the freezer, or the pantry aisles. For example, for one of the department potlucks that we had, I grabbed some lentils, bruschetta topping, feta cheese, and just mixed that all together like 5 minutes before the potluck happened and served that with seeded crackers. And you have a healthy, balanced appetizer that took almost no time. You do still want to look at the nutrition labels of the items to figure out what are the best options for you, what's going to fit into your goals. And where you can, look for options that have lower or no added salt, sugar, and saturated fat. But for other things, especially check out that sodium, sugar, and saturated fat levels so you can make sure it makes sense for you. If you pick up something that is more carb heavy or more protein heavy, you can balance it out by adding sides of veggies and whole grains, and that can help you get in that extra fiber and nutrients. Some other quick and easy options include bagged meals and salads or bag salad mixes. Look in these aisles for veggies and grains that are already cooked and ready to go. Canned, fried, and frozen options are really great places to look into as well. And if you have had any questions about the quality of like frozen food or canned produce, for vegetables and fruits in particular, one of my favorite fun facts is that canned and frozen produce is harvested at peak ripeness and it's typically processed right away. So that preserves a lot of the nutrients at the time of harvesting. And sometimes it can have more nutrition than fresh options. Like tomato products have more lycopene, which is an antioxidant, as compared to fresh tomatoes, which is really cool. There are also shelf-stable proteins like canned chicken and tuna and microwavable whole grains. And just in between us, I cannot cook a whole grain on the stove for my life, even though I have worked in kitchens. So having a microwavable quinoa in a bag is so, so helpful in these situations. When I would work with folks one-on-one for nutrition, one of the most common problems was that it's hard to know and remember what to make. So you probably have your preferred meals and things that you know how to make. So I recommend that you build your own master menu, and this will make planning easier. It's just a list of your go-to dishes. Keep it somewhere easy to reference, and there are a few different ways that you can organize it. Maybe it's by protein or carb or cuisine. And if you're someone who decides on what to eat based on vibes for the day, you can also organize it by effort level. So, for instance, a high energy meal that requires a little bit more effort, these can be the recipes that need more preparation, or it could be a new recipe that you're trying out. On your typical days with a more moderate energy level, these can be your everyday go-to options. And for low energy days, your simple, minimal effort sort of meals. And then for zero energy days or your very busy days that you just don't have time, these can be your ready-made, easy to throw together, or your healthy takeout options. Another way that you can help generate ideas is to make themed days, like a plant-based day, a pasta day, or days that you do leftovers or takeout. And if you like cooking, but you're kind of like in a cooking rut, look online, look in cookbooks, or my favorite is to tap into family and friends for the ideas that they're using. If you have other members in your household, let them have a say, ask them for ideas, get them involved with planning the meals, and having some say over what they're going to eat can help make the meals more satisfying and enjoyable. If you can, make customizable dishes, and this can help cater to different tastes and also different dietary needs. Grain bowls are a great option for this. And if dishes are starting to feel old, but you don't have brain power to think of something new, you can still change up the flavor by adding a new sauce or a spice blend. So if you'd like to share in the chat, what are your go-to meals? These can be things that you like cooking, maybe you like picking them up, ordering for takeout. What are the things that really work for you? For me personally, many nights are rice, tofu, and broccoli nights because tofu is really easy to just slice up and pan fry it for a moment, and everything's ready in like 20 minutes. Let's see, we have rice, rotisserie chicken, and steamed or sauteed vegetables. Lots of tacos, awesome. Tofu and sweet potatoes, delicious. Yeah. I also really like steamed veggies, and my favorite hack there is to put them in a microwavable safe container and just nuke it for a couple minutes. Saves you a pot, and then tacos, pesto pasta, awesome. Thanks, everyone. Maybe try out some new ideas if any of these look really fun to you. Crock pot meals, pasta, rice, veggies, awesome. All right, lots of great ideas. Now, some ways to reduce decision fatigue if you don't want to figure something out. Keep it really simple by keeping one meal the same. This can be easy to implement for breakfast or lunch by doing overnight oats or a smoothie kit for breakfast, maybe sandwiches or leftovers for lunch. And another top tip is to plan your snacks. This can be the thing that helps you to get more nutrient-dense foods into your day and stop you from reaching for just whatever is lying around when you start to feel really hungry. And you can do hummus, vegetables, whole grain crackers, or fruit and Greek yogurt, string cheese, and unsalted or mixed nuts. These are all things that have fiber, protein, complex carbs, and healthy fats that are going to be really helpful in getting you through the day. And then lastly, this whole process of however intricate you want to get with your meal planning can be a little timely. So I recommend that you spread it out. So taking 10 to 15 minutes on one day to take inventory on your kitchen and what you have, and then figuring out what to make. On a different day, going grocery shopping, maybe doing some ingredient prep on the same day when you get back. Or when you are cooking for dinner that night, you can prep a little bit of your ingredients for your next meal. Keeping things consistent and spreading out the work can make this whole feeding yourself process a lot easier. And this whole process of figuring out what to eat, making your meal if you're preparing it, eating and cleaning, all of that really adds up. And so we have these tips and tricks to save time where we can. So definitely try to lean on your pantry staples when you can. Take your inventory, see what you have. It is really, really helpful to have your prepped ingredients ready. So at the end of the day, when you're just trying to throw something together, everything's ready to go. Use your ingredients in many different ways. Like that rotisserie chicken, you can spread it across so many meals. If you are needing food for one or two, that chicken can also last you for maybe a whole week. If you are in a household where you have other hands to help, tap in for their hands so that you can cook together. It can be a nice quality time, or assign cooking days to your household members. And that can help reduce the workload on any one person. If you have children, think about getting them involved in the kitchen too. This can really help to grow their confidence and teach them healthy eating habits and learn new skills in the kitchen. I don't know if you have seen, but there are a lot of videos on social media of young kids helping out in the kitchen. So it'll take a little bit of time to get their skills developed, but those videos are pretty incredible to watch. So lastly, let's talk about saving money. The moments that we tend to lose money when it comes to grocery shopping is not using what we have at home, not looking at sales, buying things that we don't need, and throwing out the food that we don't eat. So let's start by streamlining the process. Keep a running list of your kitchen staples. You can post it on the fridge, share it in a notes app with your household, and everyone can edit it as you go. Take a look of what you have available, shop your kitchen first, and then you can plan your meals around that. And take a look at the stores that you like to go to. They'll often have flyers with sales, sometimes coupons, maybe even apps that you can download and rewards programs, and these will help you find the best deals. Produce that is in season also tends to be more affordable, and it also tends to have better flavor too. Store brand options for foods tend to be really great quality as well, and usually more affordable. If your stores have the option consider ordering your groceries online and getting them delivered or picking them up. Sometimes these stores offer this service for free, and it can save you so much time and the headache of going to grocery shop in um, the midst of crowds on the weekend or after work. But if you are doing the shopping, I highly recommend that you eat a snack first. When you are also cooking your meals, bulk up those meals with extra plant proteins like beans or lentils because they're not only very cost effective, but you also get the added benefit of essential nutrients like fiber and antioxidants, phytochemicals, and those are things that you can only, at least the phytochemicals and nutrients are things that you can only get from plant foods. These are all associated with improved health outcomes. If you buy meat, try to buy in bulk and choose lean options like loins or rounds of beef and pork, skinless poultry like chicken and turkey, and then, of course, your seafood for those omega-3s. And you can portion them out and save the extras for later. And if you tend to throw out leftovers, adjust your recipes so you can avoid food waste or freeze your leftovers for later. Maybe take that for your lunch the next day. And also remember to add your label so you don't have those questions later on in the week. So when it comes to meal planning and feeding yourself, it doesn't have to be super perfect or look a certain way. Just start small with something that you can realistically do on a consistent basis. So that might be planning one dinner a week if you typically plan zero. The point is to try to avoid burnout from adding on too many things at one time. So think about what you can do at the bare minimum, because even if you are super motivated now, motivation comes and goes, but you still want to be able to take one tiny step and get that one tiny win, which will help make that habit stick. One way to put that into action is making an implementation intention. So you're saying when in the day, picking a time and event that will remind you to do the action that you're trying to take. So, for example, when I eat dinner tonight, I'm going to make a note on my phone and add ideas to my master menu. So now my challenge for you is to commit yourself to one small thing that you can do today that can help you make progress on meal planning, whatever that means to you. And that is all that I have for you today. Hopefully you found one idea that might work for you. I know that there are a lot of different options depending on your lifestyle and what you have available. In 2 weeks, there will be a follow-up session on July 2nd. This is a Wellness in Action workshop. So we'll talk about what you tried out, ask questions to the group. It's a great time. So I will hopefully see you there. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your frozen veggies, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.